What's up, guys? Today we're asking students if they had one heart, would they give it to a 21-year-old alcoholic or a 70-year-old?
I think the 21-year-old has something that the 7-year-old doesn't, that he is more of a position to control compared to someone 1-year-old, and that's time. So he still has the call to make if he wants to continue his own lifestyle of abusing his liver. And I think given that, he has a better chance of survival than the 7-year-old.
If I were a doctor, then I would give it to whoever came to me first, because I don't really want to judge their merit based on the I don't feel like I know enough information about each
So
of them.
first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, it would be, assuming they came in at the same time, maybe the 21-year-old alcoholic should receive the heart.
Why?
And I mean, the generic answer, and honestly, in my opinion, the 21-year-old, has a whole life in front of him, while the 7-year-old has, less years to live than the 21-year-old.
Give it to the 70-year-old just because in my point of view, I would want them to end their life, having a chance if they didn't, and finish off their entire life. And I know people would think like a 21-year-old, they have more life to live and everything, but it's also up to them what they're doing. And you said they're an alcoholic, so that's their problem.
So I would give the heart to the 21-year-old alcoholic, because I feel like the 70-year-old would want the younger person to live their life out because they've already lived their life, and the 70-year-old would want the 21-year-old to get their life together and rehabilitate their alcohol abuse.
I give the heart to the 20-year-old alcoholic because he can always change his mind and become not alcoholic.
I give it to the 21-year-old because he or she still has his whole life ahead of him or her, and just because they're an alcoholic now doesn't mean they're not going to be an alcoholic later. Doesn't mean they're going to not figure out the cure for cancer or something.
I would choose a 21-year-old because I believe in second chances, and he has a long life ahead of him. And if this helps him live a better lifestyle, then I think that he deserves the heart.
So if I have to decide, I'll give it to a 21-year-old because they would have a second chance at life. And then maybe that causes him or her to not have alcohol as much as...
But would you risk it? Would you risk him losing a heart?
I'll give it to him anyway.
Yeah.
I want him to alive, because the 7 years he already lived, the 21 he didn't. So second chance of life maybe changes everything.
So I would probably give it to the elderly person, just because even though you're 21, you might not know a lot of stuff and you might have made mistakes. However, it's obvious that if you drink a lot, you need the transplant, and that it was something bad for you to do. So I feel like the elderly person deserves to just live out a couple more years.
Okay.
I would say to give the heart to no one, neither of them, because neither of them would not deserve it. But the 21-year-old, if he's an alcoholic, then they're just going to go back to their old ways. The 70-year-old, not in a rude way, but has lived a pretty decent life. They've lived a full life, and so why not save it for someone who actually needs it?
The answer is give it to the 70-year-old because they have a higher chance of living. They have 20 extra years. I know the 21-year-old's young, but the alcoholic, they have a bad liver, so they can be dying soon enough or get a DUI and die.
So you won't give him a second chance?
No.
No?
No.
Alright, so what are you dressed at today?
Like a fanboy skeleton. Like E-boy. Do you know what an E-boy is?
No.
It's like emo boy.
Emo boy,
yeah.
Okay. Alright, got it. Two people, right? They both need a heart transplant, and you have to decide who to give a heart to. A 21-year-old alcoholic or a 70-year-old?
Oh, I'd give it to the 21-year-old.
Why?
It's because I was in his position when I was 21, even when I was younger, And if that happened to me, and if I got a second heart, it'd make me want to do a little bit more of that instead of that.
What are you eating today?
Oh, I'm a baked potato.
Baked potato.
Very baked.
All right.
Guys, I'm back again with my polo buddy over here from a previous episode of 5 Million. So, if I were to give a heart transplant, I would give it to the 70-year-old
Why?
because he's not an alcoholic.
Okay, so if I had a heart transplant and give it whether to a 21-year-old alcoholic or a 70-year-old, honestly, I would still give it to the 21-year-old and hope he will change after I give him the heart transplant.
So you would risk giving it to him?
I mean, the 70-year-old, he's already been through life, he's already seen a lot, so I don't think he would want a heart transplant to begin with. So I would still give it to the 21-year-old.
I think I would give my heart to the 21-year-old because alcoholism is something that can be recovered, and in the hopes that maybe the guy finds the right path and recovers from the alcohol and he'll have a long life ahead. But I don't think it can be said the same for the 70-year-old guy. Yeah.
Okay, so we would give it to the younger person just because they have more life to live and they have more time to make experiences, while the older person, at the end of the day, has already had their experiences. So if you think about it like that, it's
But how do you know the 21-year-old won't waste the heart?
We would make an
Commitment?
agreement that they won't smoke again.
Yeah, that they won't do anything that would, put their life in jeopardy, or, that we would check up on them.
And if they don't, we'll take the heart back. Yeah.
Okay, so I picked the 21-year-old alcoholic because he has a longer time to live than the other one.
So you would risk giving the heart to someone who might not continue to use it, right?
I believe in redemption. Yeah, so
I'd probably give it to the 21-year-old if they were willing to change their ways and revert from their alcoholism. Then they probably have the best use for a new heart. So there you go.